What if I told you that every time you focus, you are bending reality? Not watching, creating. Right now, you are not observing life, you are directing it. From the moment you opened your eyes this morning, your awareness began sculpting your day, not through grand actions, but through focus, through what you chose to notice, what you gave energy to, what you silently agreed to believe. Most people assume they are passive observers, watching a world that simply unfolds in front of them. But that belief, that illusion, is the very thing that keeps them locked in cycles they cannot seem to escape. You are not here to witness life. You are here to participate in the construction of it. Your focus is not a flashlight, it is a paintbrush. And with every thought, every moment of attention, you are adding new strokes to the canvas of your reality. There is something most people miss, the simple truth that what you focus on responds to you. It is not neutral, it is not still, it is moving in rhythm with your gaze, your emotion, and your inner expectation. That is not wishful thinking, that is physics. In quantum mechanics, observation is not passive, it is influential. In the quantum field, the presence of an observer actually alters what is being observed. And while scientists use instruments to measure electrons and photons, you use attention to measure your world. Your attention collapses potential into form. Your gaze decides which version of reality will come forward. This is not a metaphor. It is the law of the field. You are the observer, and your life bends to meet your focus. Now consider this. Where has your focus been? Not just today, but for the last week, the last year. Has it been scanning for problems or possibilities, fear or faith? Because what you focus on grows, not magically but energetically. Repetition builds momentum. Momentum becomes identity, and identity shapes destiny. Let that sink in. You do not just have thoughts. Your thoughts have gravitational pull. They orbit around your beliefs and attract experiences that confirm them. That is why two people can live the same day and experience completely different worlds. One sees chaos, the other sees signs. One feels trapped, the other feels called. What changes is not the world, but the lens of awareness shaping it. And you, right now, are holding that lens. Have you ever felt like your thoughts were echoed by the universe? That something you felt intensely showed up unexpectedly? That was not coincidence. That was not chance. That was your signal being received. That was you focusing, and the field responding. You do not need rituals to begin. You do not need years of meditation to remember. You only need to realize this. Your awareness is the switch. Your focus is the bridge. You are not late. You are not broken. You are simply remembering the role you always had, the eye of creation, the still point from which all movement begins. So ask yourself now, not later, where is your focus landing? What version of your life are you feeding? Because what you feed forms. And the beautiful truth is you can choose again. In every moment, you can realign, refocus, redirect the current of your attention towards something that empowers you, something that aligns with who you are becoming, not who you were afraid to be. Let this be your turning point. The moment you stop watching life and start shaping it. To truly understand how this works, we must step into the space where science meets the soul, the quantum bridge. There is a hidden architecture that links your thoughts to your outcomes, an invisible structure that most never see, yet it touches every experience you have. This structure is not a place or a thing. It is a connection, a link between your inner world and the external unfolding of events. It is what mystics have intuited for centuries, and what science is only beginning to explain. This is the quantum bridge. Imagine this bridge not as something outside of you, but as a living extension of your consciousness, stretching from your present awareness into the field of infinite possibilities. On one side, your intentions, your desires, your focused thoughts. On the other side, physical events, encounters, breakthroughs, and turning points. The quantum bridge is what connects the two. It is not metaphorical. It is energetic. It is real. At the core of this bridge lies one of the most mysterious principles in physics: superposition. In the quantum realm, particles do not exist in one defined state. They exist in all possible states, until something collapses that possibility into a single reality. That something is observation. Now stay with this, because it is not just about electrons. It is about your life. Your desires, the life you envision, exist in a kind of superposition, a space of pure potential. That means multiple versions of your future are all simultaneously real, until something locks one in, and the act that chooses which one becomes visible: your focus, your observation, your emotional alignment. This is where the quantum bridge becomes more than theory. It becomes a tool. Let us look at the famous double-slit experiment. When particles of light or matter are fired toward a barrier with two slits, they behave like waves spreading out and forming interference patterns. But when a measuring device is placed to observe which slit they pass through, they no longer act like waves. They act like particles collapsing into a single path. In other words, the moment they are observed, their behavior changes. Why? Because observation introduces consciousness into the equation. It demands a version of reality to emerge. And so it does. Now, take that same principle and apply it to your life, your dreams, your goals, your inner vision of who you want to become. These are all waveforms existing in probability, but the moment you truly observe them with belief, clarity, and attention, you collapse the wave. You call one version into being. You are not passively waiting for your reality to change. You are always selecting it. Every day, every moment. Your awareness is the selector. But observation alone is not enough. The quantum bridge is not just built by looking, it is built by feeling. The bridge becomes stable when your focus and your emotion are aligned. When your attention and your belief match the vibration of what you want, the pathway between the invisible and the physical becomes clear. This is why scattered thoughts produce scattered results, and why inner coherence creates quantum flow. Now here is the part most people never realize. This bridge works both ways. Your reality does not only respond to your focus, it also feeds information back to your mind. If you focus on lack, the field shows you more lack. If you focus on fear, the field collapses that vibration into experience. It becomes a feedback loop until you consciously interrupt it. And you can interrupt it. You can step onto the bridge and choose again. You can redirect your attention toward the version of life that empowers you. You can begin to walk in alignment with a new outcome, one that already exists in potential, just waiting to be activated. Because nothing is outside of possibility. In the quantum field, everything is available, all at once. The only limit is what you consistently focus on, what you habitually expect, what you emotionally affirm to be true. This is why practices like visualization, affirmation, and meditation work, not because they are magical, but because they train your observation. They teach you how to hold focus long enough for the bridge to stabilize, long enough for reality to respond. So now ask yourself, what version of you are you building the bridge to? Is it the version that lives from fear, or the version that lives from knowing? Imagine your desires floating in a sea of probabilities. Your focus is the magnet that selects one into existence. That is not wishful thinking. That is how the field works. You are not separate from this process. You are not waiting for the bridge to be built. You are the builder. The energy flowing through your awareness is the blueprint. The emotion behind your focus is the stabilizer. And the willingness to choose again, even when old patterns return, is the key to crossing into a new timeline. The quantum bridge is always present. It is not built once and forgotten. It is constructed moment by moment, as you decide what to give life to through your attention. And the more you learn to focus with clarity, belief, and emotion, the more fluidly you walk between possibility and reality. So the next time you feel lost, the next time it seems like life is not responding, pause. Do not chase. Observe. Realign. Feel the bridge beneath you. It is there. It has always been there. And your next reality is only one conscious focus away. But destiny is not a pre-written script. It is a frequency waiting to be tuned. You have been taught to see destiny as something etched in stone, as if life were a timeline carved long before your first breath. A straight line, a fate, a path you are either on or not. But this view is a relic of linear thinking. It belongs to a world that misunderstands the true nature of energy, choice, and consciousness. Destiny is not fixed. It is not assigned. It is not hiding at the end of a tunnel waiting for you to arrive. Destiny is vibrational. It is shaped moment by moment, like sound through a tuning fork. It moves when you move. It shifts when you shift. It bends in real time with the quality of your focus and the frequency of your being. What does that mean? It means your future is not being dictated. It is being responded to, and the mechanism behind that response is frequency, the energetic signature you broadcast through thought, emotion, and belief. Every feeling you emit, every thought you repeat, every assumption you carry is a signal, and that signal is being mirrored back to you, not by fate, but by resonance. You are not being rewarded or punished by the universe. You are being reflected. Let us bring this into focus. Think of a radio. It does not invent the music. It tunes into it. The music was already there, traveling invisibly through space. But the dial you turn decides which song plays through your speakers. In the same way, your emotional state, your internal frequency, decides which version of reality you experience. Not because you are making it up, but because you are tuning into it. Your destiny is not far away. It is already playing. The question is, which station are you tuned to? Now consider how you move through a single day. Are you aligned with thoughts of lack or thoughts of expansion? Are you carrying guilt or gratitude? Are you expecting resistance or opening to flow? You may think these shifts are small, but in quantum terms they are everything, because each emotional tone carries a different vibrational weight, and those vibrations shape how the field of possibility responds to you. You are not separate from your destiny. You are generating it. When you align with higher frequencies, love, trust, clarity, courage, the bridge between you and your desired future becomes shorter, clearer, stronger. Life seems to move faster. Synchronicities appear. Doors open, not magically, vibrationally. You become a match for what was already waiting. But when you stay locked in lower states, doubt, fear, shame, powerlessness, the opposite happens. Destiny does not disappear, but it becomes harder to access. The signal is jammed. You experience delay, confusion, and repetition. Again, not because you are wrong, but because your frequency does not match the timeline you are trying to reach. And this is where most people misunderstand. They chase goals with low-frequency energy. They try to force abundance while rooted in fear. They seek love while vibrating with abandonment. They want transformation while resonating with the old identity. That bridge cannot hold. The signal does not carry. You cannot live a new future while tuned to an old self. This is why true alignment is not about doing more. It is about being differently, about waking up in the morning and choosing a new station, a new vibration, a new version of you that already resonates with the life you are stepping into. What if your future was not waiting for you but listening to you? What if your next chapter could hear the tone of your thoughts, the shape of your self-belief, the music of your inner world? Because it can. That is the science of resonance, and it is also the language of the soul. Destiny does not arrive like a package on your doorstep. It unfolds from within, like a song you remember how to sing. The moment you align with its frequency, it emerges, not from force, from match, from rhythm, from truth. Now take a moment and reflect. What frequency are you living in today? Are you matching the life you desire, or repeating the vibration of what you fear? You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to fake positivity, but you do need to be honest. Because the field responds to what is real, and when you begin to live in resonance, even slightly, you will feel it. Reality begins to hum, your path becomes lighter, life starts to speak back. This is not philosophy, it is vibration. You are a transmitter, you are a receiver, and every moment you are broadcasting the next version of your life. So the next time someone tells you destiny is fixed, smile quietly, because you will know the truth. Destiny is not a map, it is music, and you are the one tuning the instrument. Let us now explore how science confirms that your very act of observation transforms reality itself. There is a mystery at the heart of reality that defies logic and bends the rules of what you were taught to believe. A principle so strange even seasoned physicists hesitate when trying to explain it. It is called the observer effect. And once you understand it, not just intellectually but personally, your sense of power in this world will never be the same. In the quantum world, observation does not just reveal reality, it shapes it. Let us begin with what scientists have actually seen. In the famous double-slit experiment, particles, like photons or electrons, are fired at a barrier with two narrow slits. On the other side of the slits, a screen records where the particles land. When no one watches, the particles behave like waves. They pass through both slits at once, creating a pattern of interference, the kind of pattern you would expect from ripples in water. This wave pattern suggests the particle was not in one place, it was in all possible places. But the moment a device is set up to measure which slit the particle goes through, the pattern disappears, the wave collapses. The particle behaves as if it went through only one slit. Observation changes the outcome. Why? Because the act of observing forces a decision, forces the universe to choose. In its unobserved state, the particle lives in superposition, a state of all probabilities. But once it is watched, once consciousness steps in, the field responds. The infinite becomes finite. The possible becomes actual. Now you may be wondering, what does a physics experiment have to do with your everyday life? Everything. Because your thoughts are also acts of observation. Your focus is a form of measurement. When you think, you are not just reviewing reality, you are selecting it. Your consciousness is collapsing waveforms into physical experience. The double-slit experiment does not only happen in a lab, it happens in your mind, in your emotions, in your expectations, every single day. You are not a spectator in the universe. You are the variable that changes the outcome. When you observe something, a goal, a fear, a vision, a memory, you bring it into energetic focus. You amplify its presence in your field, and the universe, like the particle in the experiment, responds to the attention you give. It reshapes itself to reflect your gaze. Now let us go deeper. At the quantum level, the boundary between observer and observed begins to blur. The scientist is not separate from the experiment. The act of measuring changes what is being measured. In spiritual terms, this has always been known. The seer is part of the seen. You are not apart from your reality. You are woven into it. This is not spiritual metaphor. It is scientific reality. Your consciousness participates in the formation of your world. So let us bring this home. Think of your focus as a kind of energetic lens. Whatever you consistently observe, through thought, emotion, or belief, begins to take form. When you worry constantly about a worst-case scenario, you are measuring it into existence. When you dwell on lack, you collapse the wave of abundance, not because you are being punished, but because you are the observer, and your measurement matters. This is why vision matters. Why affirmations matter. Why imagination matters. Because when you focus on a possibility with emotional presence, you strengthen its probability. You nudge the field. You influence the particles. You become the scientist of your own experience. Let us go back to the lab one more time. In some versions of the double-slit experiment, the measuring device does not even have to be recording. Its mere presence changes the pattern, meaning the intention to observe is enough to alter the outcome. This mirrors something spiritual traditions have said for centuries, that intention is creative, that the energy behind an action is just as powerful as the action itself. So what happens when you walk through life with the intention to create? When you wake up and observe your world with gratitude, with expectancy, with trust, you collapse a different waveform. You activate a new pattern. You open the door to a reality that was always there, waiting for your observation to bring it into view. This is where science meets intention, where particles meet prayer, where equations meet energy. And you, yes, you are standing at the center of that intersection. So pause. Ask yourself now, what am I consistently observing? What am I emotionally measuring into reality? Is it fear or faith? Is it regret or renewal? Because every focus has a frequency, and every frequency has a field, and every field holds a future. You are not here to be a passive witness. You are here to participate, to co-create, to select. In every moment, the field of infinite potential surrounds you, billions of particles swirling in pure possibility. Your focus is the force that organizes them. Your emotion is the energy that binds them. Your intention is the signal that chooses the shape they take. You are not separate from this. You never were. So the next time you find yourself drifting into autopilot, remember the power in your eyes, in your mind, in your heart. You are observing. And in doing so, you are creating. You are collapsing timelines. You are choosing outcomes. You are shaping the direction of what comes next. Not by force, not by control, but by conscious awareness. Observation is not just about seeing, it is about becoming. When you observe the world through the lens of alignment, you begin to become the reality you desire. Your presence alters the field. So take this truth and carry it forward. You are not watching life happen. You are the variable it bends around. Now let us look deeper. How exactly does your focus select from infinite paths? The answer lies in the collapse of possibility. Beneath the surface of your everyday experience, there is a vast, invisible ocean, a multi-dimensional space where every version of your life already exists. Not in fantasy, not in imagination, but in quantum potential. Scientists call it the field of probability. Mystics call it the realm of infinite timelines. You live in one version, but many are available. This is not science fiction. It is quantum fact. At every moment, your life branches out in directions you cannot see. The decisions you make, the beliefs you hold, the emotions you repeat, all of them are signals, and those signals determine which branch you step into next. The field does not choose randomly. It responds to the one thing you carry with you wherever you go, your attention. Your attention is not just a spotlight, it is a sculptor. When you focus on something, you collapse the waveform of potential into a single point, a choice, an event, a reality. The act of paying attention is the act of selecting. You are not walking a straight line. You are walking through a cloud of possibilities, and your gaze solidifies the ground beneath your feet. Let us bring this into focus with metaphor. Imagine your life as a vast photo archive, filled with millions of images that have not yet developed. All the moments you could live, all the experiences you could have, but each one is blurry, undefined, until your attention acts like a cosmic camera. The moment you focus, you snap a picture. That image becomes the next page in your story. And the best part? You are holding the lens. This is why two people in the same situation can walk away with entirely different realities. One focused on the opportunity, the growth, the possibility, and stepped into a timeline of expansion. The other focused on the threat, the pain, the pattern, and collapsed into a loop of limitation. The event was the same. The outcome was chosen by attention. You are doing this right now. In this very moment. With every thought you entertain, every emotion you amplify, you are selecting a version of reality. You are pulling it from the cloud of what could be into the concrete of what is. This is the true power of consciousness. In physics, this collapse is not abstract, it is observable. In the quantum world, particles behave like clouds of probability, waveforms, until they are observed. Then, and only then, do they choose a state. That choice is not predetermined. It is influenced by the presence of attention. That means your focus does not just watch the world, it activates it. Now imagine the weight of this in your daily life. You worry about something. You repeat a fear. You obsess over what might go wrong. Every repetition strengthens the image. Every loop sharpens the lens, and eventually that image develops, not because you wanted it, but because you observed it so vividly, the field had no choice but to respond. This is not to blame you, it is to empower you. Because the reverse is just as true. You visualize healing. You hold faith. You practice gratitude. You focus again and again on the life you want, not just with words but with feeling. And slowly the clouds shift. The pixels sharpen. The image appears. A new reality begins to form, one that was always there, hidden behind the fog of distraction. So ask yourself now, what possibilities are you collapsing into form? What story are you developing with your attention? Are you zoomed in on fear or expanded into trust? Are you reinforcing limitations or focusing on new paths? Because what you focus on does not just grow, it solidifies. It becomes the next chapter. And if you are not conscious, your attention will be hijacked by the media, by the past, by old identities whispering that nothing can change. But it can. Because the moment you take your focus back, the moment you become intentional with where you place your gaze, the field responds. The wave begins to collapse differently. Reality reshapes around your awareness. Let us go even deeper. You do not need to know how your desire will form. That is not your job. Your job is to maintain the focus, to keep the lens steady, to hold the image, even when the world looks blurred, especially then. Because the camera does not lie, the lens does not delay, it simply needs time to adjust the exposure. And when it does, something breathtaking appears, the version of life that was always possible, now fully revealed. The next time you find yourself spinning in doubt, remember this: you are not stuck, you are scanning. You are looking through the lens at a version you do not need to develop, and you can change it. In a breath, in a thought, in a sift of attention. The next time you worry, ask yourself, is this the version of reality I want to amplify? Because you are the amplifier. You are the selector. You are the eye behind the lens. You are the one collapsing infinity into form. But it is not just focus. It is your state while focusing that creates power. You have been taught to focus your mind, to set goals, visualize outcomes, speak affirmations, and yes, your focus shapes the quantum field. But there is something even more powerful than your thoughts alone. It is the frequency beneath them, the emotional signature behind the focus, the internal state from which you observe. Your internal state is not a side effect. It is the source. It is the tuning fork of your entire reality. Imagine this clearly. If your mind is the satellite dish, your emotional state is the signal it sends. A focused mind without emotional alignment is like a radio tuned to the right station, but transmitting static. You might be saying the right words, seeing the right images, even holding the right beliefs, but if your state is anxious, doubtful, or resistant, the field receives that vibration, not just your intent. This is the silent force behind why some manifestations feel delayed, why progress stalls, why things feel misaligned, even when your vision is clear. It is not a flaw. It is a misalignment between thought and frequency. Because the universe does not respond to what you think, it responds to what you are. You are always broadcasting, not just occasionally. not just during meditation. Every second, every feeling, every breath, your inner world is emitting a signal, and the field is tuning in. It is not judging you. It is not testing you. It is simply mirroring your state. This is why two people with the same desire can produce entirely different results. One asks for abundance while vibrating lack. The other speaks the same words, but from a state of deep trust, worthiness, and openness. The difference is not in the script. The difference is in the state. So what is your current signal? Is it scattered or coherent? Is it empowered or hesitant? Is it rooted in old identity or rising from awakened intention? Let us bring this closer to home. Think of a tuning fork. When struck, it vibrates at a precise frequency, and anything in its vicinity that resonates with that frequency will begin to vibrate too. That is resonance. That is how energy moves through the field. When your internal state is clear, aligned, and intentional, it acts like a tuning fork, pulling in people, experiences, and timelines that match it. But if the tuning fork is unstable, if your emotional frequency wavers from fear to hope to doubt to control, the signal becomes erratic. The field cannot lock in. The bridge collapses before it ever stabilizes. That is not failure. That is feedback. Because your reality is always giving you clues about your current state. The people who show up, the opportunities that land, the delays you face, all of it is not punishment. It is a mirror. And if you observe it without shame, it becomes your greatest ally. Now here is what most people get wrong. They think they need to control their emotions, suppress their doubts, or fake high vibrations to attract better outcomes. But suppression is distortion. Pretending is interference. You do not need to fake your state. You need to feel your way into truth. Your emotions are not reactions. They are frequencies sent into the field of potential. When you feel aligned, it shows. There is no need to force. Your voice changes. Your energy shifts. Your body relaxes. You stop chasing and start allowing. That state, that grounded clarity, is magnetic. It draws in what matches, not through demand, but through resonance. So how do you tune your internal state? Not by manipulating outcomes, but by returning to alignment, by making peace with the now, by regulating your nervous system, by choosing trust over tension, by remembering who you actually are, not a beggar of the universe, but a participant in its rhythm. You do not chase a new timeline. You become the version of you who already lives in it. That version has a frequency. Your job is to match it. That version thinks differently, but more importantly, feels differently. It feels safe. It feels sovereign. It feels in tune. And from that place, manifestation becomes less about attracting and more about revealing what was always there. So pause and ask yourself, what am I broadcasting right now? Not what am I thinking, what am I feeling underneath the thought, because that is the true code. That is the vibration that writes the pattern. When you begin to live from the inside out, when your internal state becomes the priority, you will notice something incredible. Resistance fades, timing sharpens, life begins to move with you, not against you. You are no longer signaling fear, you are no longer seeking permission, you are vibrating truth. And the field listens, not because you forced it, but because you finally matched it. Let us now uncover the patterns that keep people stuck in repeating timelines. You may have felt it before, the strange sensation of living the same problems on repeat. Different people, same patterns, new locations, old emotions, as if time is moving forward, but your life is circling back. You try to break free, set new goals, speak new affirmations, but somehow the cycle returns. This is not coincidence. It is not fate. It is an identity loop. An identity loop is not who you are. It is who you believe yourself to be. a set of unconscious thoughts, emotions, and expectations running beneath your awareness, feeding your focus, shaping your decisions, coloring your perception of what is even possible. You are not repeating experiences because you want them. You are repeating them because part of you has been trained to expect them. And expectation is a form of observation. In the quantum field, what you expect becomes the measurement, the signal, the vibration, and the field, as always, responds. It reflects what you are broadcasting, not what you hope for, what you believe to be true. Many people try to change their life without changing the identity beneath their focus. They repeat mantras while still identifying as broken. They chase success while still believing they are unworthy. They visualize abundance while still vibrating with survival. The outer desire clashes with the inner expectation. The signal splits. And when the signal splits, the timeline loops. This is why real transformation does not begin with external change. It begins with internal honesty. The courage to pause and ask, what version of me am I living through right now? Not who do I want to be, who do I still assume I am? Because if you assume you are always left behind, you will overlook the people who stay. If you assume life must be hard, you will bypass the moments when ease appears. If you assume you are not ready, you will reject the opportunities that prove you are. This is not sabotage, it is protection. The mind clings to familiar loops because they feel safe, even if they are painful. And so you relive what you once survived, mistaking old patterns for present truth. But here is the awakening. Patterns are not prisons, they are mirrors. And once you see the mirror, you can choose again. You can interrupt the loop, not by force, but by shifting the identity behind the observation. When you begin to believe in a new version of yourself, the quantum field adjusts. It reflects your new belief. It bends toward your new focus. Slowly, the pattern unravels, and repetition gives way to revolution. But this process is not intellectual. It is energetic. It requires more than new thoughts. It requires new emotional embodiment. You must feel the new identity into being. You must walk as it, speak as it, focus as it, even before the evidence arrives. Because the evidence is not the cause, it is the echo. When you live from a new identity long enough, life must mirror it. That is law. Now let us go even deeper. Some identity loops are not created by choice. They are born from trauma, from pain that your nervous system never fully processed. And when those wounds remain unhealed, they whisper quiet instructions to your focus. Be careful, stay small, do not hope too much. These instructions are not flaws. They are survival codes. But survival is not your only destiny. You are here to thrive, to evolve, to rewrite. So if you recognize a loop today, do not shame it. Witness it. Hold it. Say to yourself with compassion, I see this pattern. I understand why it formed, and I am choosing something new. That awareness alone begins to shift the signal. Are you observing life or replaying old scripts without knowing it? Because every time you focus through an unexamined identity, you reinforce it. But every time you pause and observe the observer, you reclaim the pen. You stop being the character and become the author. The illusion of repetition begins to dissolve the moment you realize you are not your past. You are not your loop. You are the presence that sees the loop, and therefore, you are the one who can end it. So as you move forward, carry this truth. You do not need to fight the pattern. You only need to rise above the vibration that sustains it. Observe from the new identity. Focus from the version of you that already lives beyond the loop. And watch how the world reshapes to meet your new signal. Breaking the loop begins when you reclaim time, and time, as we will see, is not what you think. You were taught to believe that time moves in one direction, forward, that it is rigid, that it ticks away at a fixed speed, measured by clocks, counted in hours, marked by calendars. But what if that was only true on the surface? In the quantum world, time is not a straight line. It is a field. And inside that field, time bends, stretches, contracts, and folds in ways your logical mind was never trained to understand. But your consciousness understands. Your body knows. You have felt it. You have had moments where time seemed to disappear, minutes that felt like hours, or hours that vanished in seconds. You have experienced déjà vu, sudden clarity, intuitive flashes that arrived faster than thought. You have sensed something moving before it happened. That was not your imagination. That was your observer field stretching into the non-linear dimension of time. In quantum physics, there is a phenomenon called time dilation. It shows that time is not universal. It depends on speed, gravity, and the frame of reference. For someone moving at the speed of light, time slows down relative to those standing still. Time does not tick the same for all observers. So what happens when the observer is consciousness? Your awareness is not bound by clock time. It is bound by focus. The more present you become, the more you slip outside of linear measurement. Your perception shifts. Moments expand. Synchronicities multiply. This is not magic. It is what happens when you stop living as a slave to time and begin to experience it as a frequency. Because time is not a container. It is a response. And in your field of observation, time will move according to your vibration. When you are anxious, scattered, overwhelmed, time feels fast, slippery, chaotic. You chase it. You run out of it. You feel like there is never enough. But when you are grounded, aligned, connected, time slows down. You feel supported. Moments open. Space expands between seconds, and what you used to force begins to arrive. This is the elasticity of time in the observer's field. Time bends to the presence behind the perception. Let us go deeper. The future is not a place ahead of you. It is a pattern. It is a vibrational code that already exists, not waiting in line but waiting in frequency. When your internal state matches that frequency, time compresses. What once felt far away begins to feel near. Things unfold faster, not because the future sped up, but because you met it in resonance. This is why some changes take years, and others happen in a flash. Why one decision can alter your entire trajectory. The difference is not effort. The difference is time access, and time access depends on alignment. When you shift your focus, time bends. This is not poetic metaphor. It is energetic precision. Time is not a line that pulls you forward. It is a web that responds to your awareness. You are not at the mercy of time. You are participating in its rhythm. Think of it like music. To a distracted mind, music is noise, but to the attuned listener, it has tempo, texture, emotion, space. You move with it. You feel it. You join it. Time is the same. When you are in flow, your actions feel effortless. You meet the right people. You speak the right words. You arrive in the right places. That is not luck. That is timing collapsing around your field. But when you resist the moment, when you force, doubt, or fear, time pushes back. Things delay. Clarity scatters. The melody breaks. So how do you return to aligned time? You release the obsession with speed and deepen into the power of presence. Presence is the key. When you are truly present, time stretches. You stop reacting. You start selecting. Your perception becomes precise. Your awareness becomes anchored, and time begins to flow around you rather than dragging you behind it. This is what the mystics meant when they said, "All is now." They were not being vague. They were describing a truth. Your science is just beginning to prove all timelines, all futures, all versions of you exist simultaneously, but you can only access the one you are attuned to, and attunement happens through the way you experience time. So ask yourself, are you rushing through this life, or are you moving with it? Because how you feel time is how you shape time. When you treat every moment like a stepping stone to somewhere else, time hardens. But when you treat the present moment like it matters, like it is the gateway, it becomes elastic. It opens. It breathes. It bends. And within that bend, timelines shift. When you shift focus, time bends. That is why quantum shifts feel instant, because they are. Within time's elasticity, there are key portal moments that redirect your fate. Not all moments are equal. Some pass quietly, blending into the background of your day. Others arrive with force, charged, unexpected, undeniable. They demand your presence. They ask you to decide. They feel like a crossroads, a shift, a ripple through the ordinary. These moments are portal points. A portal point is not defined by size. It is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is a conversation, a flash of clarity, a sudden pull to act, to leave, to say yes or to walk away. It is a moment when your awareness becomes so focused, so alive, that your entire field of possibility rearranges. And whether you realize it or not, these moments are shaping your path. The quantum field is always moving. Timelines are always overlapping, converging, and diverging. But certain moments act as energetic gateways, windows in time when a shift in focus, belief, or emotion can instantaneously redirect your trajectory. You have already lived through these. Think back. What moment changed everything for you? That was a portal point. Maybe it was when you let go of something that no longer served you. Maybe it was when you spoke truth, even though your voice shook. Maybe it was when you followed a strange nudge that made no logical sense, but changed your entire direction. These moments do not just happen. They are co-created. Your internal state primes them. Your emotional readiness invites them. Your willingness to see what you used to ignore, that is what activates the portal. Portal points often arrive when you are on the edge of identity shift, when you are about to release the old loop and step into a new alignment, and because they hold so much vibrational weight, they come with intensity, sometimes beauty, sometimes discomfort. You might feel uncertain. You might feel emotional. You might feel like you are standing in two worlds at once, one foot in what was, the other stepping into what could be. That is because you are. These moments collapse timelines. They accelerate decisions. They draw in experiences that match your emerging frequency. And here is the key: how you meet a portal determines what activates. When you meet it with fear, you reinforce the old path. When you meet it with awareness, even if you are trembling, you activate the new, because it is not about being fearless. It is about being conscious. The universe is not testing you. It is mirroring you. And when a portal appears, it is an invitation, not from outside, but from the version of you who already exists beyond the moment. Portal points often contain synchronicities, sudden alignments, unexpected opportunities, or even challenges that reveal exactly where your power was hiding. They act like a spiritual echo, your future self reaching back to say, right here, step through this. But you must be present enough to notice. If your mind is lost in repetition, you will miss the doorway. If your awareness is numb, you will walk past the invitation. Portal points are activated through conscious recognition. You must see it, feel it, respond to it. Not with perfection, but with intention. And when you do, something remarkable happens. Reality bends. A new path begins to unfold. People shift. Timing sharpens. Life accelerates in the direction of your becoming. This is not fantasy. This is frequency. Portal points are energetic intersections where your current vibration intersects with a higher timeline. And when you align, even for a moment, you slip through. You do not need to know all the steps. You do not need to have it all figured out. You only need to recognize the moment as sacred and move with presence. Your fate is not a script. It is a rhythm. And every portal is a beat that changes the melody. So pay attention. The next time you feel that pull, pause. When the old pattern rises but you choose differently, pause. When a new opportunity arrives, and fear says wait, but your soul whispers go, pause. That pause is the opening. That awareness is the doorway. And when you step through it, you do not just change your life, you change which life you are living. But who writes the script of reality? Let us look at the mind's role in authoring the external. Your life is not simply something happening around you. It is something being written from within you. And the author is not fate. It is not randomness. It is not someone else's design. The author is your mind, but not the surface-level thoughts you notice every day. It is the deeper script, the one that runs beneath your awareness, the one made up of the stories you repeat, the beliefs you carry, and the assumptions you no longer question. This script shapes what you notice, what you expect, and what you are even capable of seeing. The outer world you experience is the mirror of the inner story you are telling. Let us begin with something grounded in science. Inside your brain is a network called the Reticular Activating System, or RAS. This system acts like a filter. It decides what information gets passed into your conscious mind and what gets ignored. Every second you are bombarded with millions of bits of data, but your RAS chooses only the few that align with your internal narrative. That means your mind does not show you reality. It shows you a version of reality that matches what you already believe to be true. So if you believe people cannot be trusted, your RAS will highlight every betrayal and dismiss every act of kindness. If you believe you are always behind, your RAS will make sure you notice evidence to confirm that story, even if you are succeeding. This is not psychological weakness, it is neurological design. And it means your beliefs are not just personal opinions, they are selectors of experience. What you repeatedly affirm becomes your subconscious reality code. The affirmations you speak, whether aloud or silently, are not just phrases, they are instructions. Repetitive commands that shape the neural pathways in your brain and the electromagnetic field around your body. They tell your RAS what to filter in and what to filter out. You may not realize it, but you are scripting every day. When you say, "I always mess this up," you are writing that version into the field. When you say, "Nothing ever works out for me," the script becomes a command, not because the world conspires against you, but because your perception aligns with that belief and your energy reinforces it. But here is the power in all of this. If the mind writes the script, then you can rewrite it. You can pause, observe, interrupt the default, and begin a new chapter. But this is not about simply thinking positive. It is about becoming intentional with the narrative you allow to run in the background. It is about choosing thoughts that are not only empowering but believable, repeatable, embodied. Because the subconscious does not change through force. It changes through rhythm, through repetition, through emotional consistency. When you begin to speak a new script with feeling, even before the evidence appears, you shift your field, the RAS adjusts, your focus sharpens, your emotional frequency elevates, and soon your external world begins to mirror the internal rewrite. This is not wishful thinking. It is neuroplasticity. It is quantum alignment. You are not passively receiving your life. You are broadcasting it. And the clearer the signal, the more precisely the field responds. Let us make this practical. Take a belief you know limits you. Something old, something inherited. Maybe it says, "I am not ready," or "I never follow through," or "nothing ever lasts." Now ask yourself, is this true, or is this a script I have unconsciously repeated? Because if it is a script, it can be changed. You do not need to fake the opposite. You do not need to say, "I am perfect," if your body does not believe it. Start with something honest and expansive, something your mind and body can begin to align with. For example, "I am learning to trust myself. I am building momentum every day." I am ready for new experiences that reflect who I am becoming. Say it. Repeat it. Feel it. Let your body remember it. The script becomes stronger through lived experience, through small actions that reinforce the story, through new choices that align with the new identity. And over time, the old script dissolves, not because you erased it, but because you stopped feeding it. Because you are the screenwriter of your life, not the actor trapped in someone else's scene. So be mindful of your language. Be intentional with your thoughts. Be aware of what you repeat, because repetition is reinforcement, and reinforcement becomes reality. You are not here to recycle your past. You are here to write a future that has never been lived before. To truly shift, you must focus not just on the outcome, but with the right frequency. You have learned that focus is powerful. You understand that where your attention goes, energy flows. But there is a deeper layer, one most people never realize. It is not just about what you focus on. It is about how you focus. More specifically, the emotional quality behind your attention. This is emotional precision. It is the art of aligning your inner world so accurately with your desired outcome that the quantum field cannot help but respond. Not because you are forcing it, but because you have become a perfect match to the frequency you are calling in. Focusing without emotional precision is like aiming an arrow with a shaky hand. You may have the right direction, but you will miss the target. The signal is weak, scattered, unstable. The result is hit or miss, inconsistent, frustrating. But when your focus is steady and your emotion is tuned, the signal sharpens. The field listens. Reality shifts. So what does emotional precision actually mean? It means feeling your future with such clarity that your body begins to believe it is already happening. It means entering into the vibration of the outcome before the outcome appears. It means becoming energetically fluent, learning to read and speak the language of emotion with intention and integrity. Let us break this down. Say you want to experience more abundance. You can visualize money. You can write affirmations. You can declare your goals out loud. But if underneath all that, you still feel anxious, undeserving, or desperate, the signal being broadcast is not abundance. It is lack. And the field does not respond to your words. It responds to your vibration. So what do? You shift the feeling, not just the focus. You do not just think about wealth. You feel what it is like to be supported, to breathe without fear, to rest without worry, to move through life with an unshakable sense of sufficiency. You focus from the energy of already having, not the tension of needing. This is emotional precision. And it works for anything: healing, love, opportunity, clarity. Your focus is the steering wheel. Your emotion is the fuel. If you visualize perfect health while still vibrating with fear of illness, the signal stays incoherent. But when you shift into gratitude for every cell, every heartbeat, every breath, your focus gains depth, it gains power. The message becomes clean, direct, undeniable. This is not about pretending. It is not about forcing joy or faking peace. It is about learning how to access emotional resonance on purpose. Because when you do, the field of potential becomes a field of precision. Timelines lock in, doors open, you stop chasing, and begin receiving. Do not just visualize, vibrate with the outcome. Become it now. Let us make this real. Close your eyes. Picture a version of yourself who already has what you are calling in. Notice how they breathe, how they carry themselves, what they no longer worry about, how they respond to challenges. Let your body mimic their posture, their tone, their presence. This is not a mental exercise, it is energetic embodiment. The more you do this, the more consistently you hold the emotional tone of your desired reality, the faster that reality crystallizes in your external world. You are not waiting for the outcome to feel the emotion. You are using the emotion to activate the outcome. This is the inversion that changes everything, and it is available to you now. You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need complete certainty. You only need the willingness to feel on purpose, to become conscious of your emotional state, to stop reacting and start creating. Because emotional precision is not control, it is presence. It is choosing your inner world, even when the outer world has not caught up yet. It is saying, I feel the signal. I trust the signal. I am the signal. And when you live that way, reality responds. Not because you forced it, but because you aligned with it. So the next time you focus, ask, what emotion am I sending with this thought? Is it fear or trust? Is it desperation or confidence? Is it anxiety or peace? Because that emotion is the true message. That feeling is the magnetic code that shapes the timeline ahead. Let us pause and remember the truth about who and what you really are. Pause, breathe, come back to the center of your awareness, the place within you that is still, focused, and present. You are not just learning about the quantum field. You are not merely listening to concepts. You are remembering what has always been true. You are the bridge between intention and creation. You are the signal that shapes the field. You are the observer. Everything you have heard so far about timelines, vibration, emotional alignment, identity loops, and resonance, all of it points back to one core realization. You are not outside the system trying to manipulate it. You are the system. You are the instrument. You are not just inside the field. The field is responding to you. Right now you are shaping the next segment of your life, not through effort, but through awareness, through how you feel, through what you choose to focus on, through how bravely you are willing to tune into the next version of yourself before the world reflects it. You do not need to force transformation. You do not need to beg for signs. You only need to remember that every reality is already available, and the key to unlocking it is the alignment of your energy, your focus, and your identity. You are not chasing your future. You are becoming the version of you who already lives it. And as you continue listening, carry this energy with you. This knowing, this gentle, grounded power. The next chapters will take you even deeper into the embodiment of the observer, into the practice of conscious focus, into the frequency of creative precision. But before we continue, if this resonates, share your experience. Type "I am the gateway" in the comments. Let the field hear you. Let your future see you. Because you are not here to passively observe this message. You are here to activate it. Let us now walk the path of alignment, your path of conscious creation. Now you understand your focus is not passive, your emotion is not random, and your timeline is not fixed. You are not waiting for permission to shift. You are being invited to participate in the architecture of your life. The field is open. The tools are within you, and what comes next is not about more information. It is about new embodiment. You realign. You refocus. You recreate. Realignment does not begin with perfection. It begins with awareness. You cannot align with a future self if you are unconscious of the present one. So the first step is not action. It is stillness. It is observation. How do you begin? You watch your patterns, not to judge them, but to reclaim them. You notice what pulls your attention. You identify where your energy leaks. You track where fear disguises itself as practicality. This is not discipline. This is awakening. You say to yourself, I am not the thoughts I inherited. I am not the emotion I rehearsed. I am the one choosing how long I stay there. That is realignment. Next comes focus, but not the kind of focus built on pressure or effort. The new observer focuses from wholeness, not from lack. You do not focus because you are desperate. You focus because you are ready. You know that every thought is a tuning signal, every emotion a signature, and every moment a creative opportunity. This is where you become intentional with your energy. You start your day not with reaction, but with command. You decide what version of yourself you are practicing. You visualize it, speak it, feel it. You let your focus set the tone, not the news, not the world, not the past. And when the old reality returns, because it will, you do not panic, you do not spiral. You realign. You remember that just because a pattern appears does not mean it must stay. Focus becomes your anchor. Presence becomes your superpower. From this space, recreation begins. Recreation is not about changing your entire life overnight. It is about shifting from what should I do to who am I becoming. It is about daily calibration, about aligning your smallest actions with your highest identity. You ask, would the future version of me say this, choose this, focus here? And if the answer is no, you pause, you redirect. This is not rigidity, it is mastery. Because when you start living from that future identity now, even in subtle ways, the field notices, the mirror sharpens, time compresses, opportunities arrive, not because you chased them, but because you became their match. Now let us ground this in practice. First, daily alignment. Begin your day with intentional frequency. Before reaching for your phone, reach for your presence. Breathe. Feel. Speak a declaration that belongs to your future self. I am the observer. I direct my life. I collapse new realities with clarity and calm. Repeat it until your body believes it. Second, environmental precision. Your environment reflects your signal. Is your space reinforcing the version of you that you are becoming? The conversations you entertain, the content you consume, the energies you allow, they all echo your internal state. Curate them like sacred instruments. Third, timeline rehearsal. Throughout the day, revisit the timeline you are anchoring. Feel it again. Speak from it. Decide from it. Act from it. This is not delusion. This is frequency rehearsal. You are reminding the quantum field who to respond to. Fourth, emotional integrity. Honor every emotion, even the uncomfortable ones. But do not confuse emotions with identity. You can feel fear without becoming it. You can witness doubt without giving it the pen. You are not the reaction. You are the one choosing what to amplify. This is the observer set's path. Realign. Refocus. Recreate. You will fall out of alignment. That is expected. The mastery is in how quickly you return. Each time you catch the loop sooner, realign faster, and focus more intentionally, your identity stabilizes. Your signal strengthens. Your reality accelerates. And slowly, the distance between your intention and your outcome shrinks. What once felt far away begins to meet you, not because you pushed harder, but because you matched sooner. This is not about doing more. It is about being different. You are no longer reacting to life. You are formatting it. Every day you choose to react or to realign. You choose whether to live in the memory of what has been or the energy of what could be. And each time you choose the latter, even quietly, the field listens. So ask yourself now, what version of me is ready to be focused into form? What belief, action, or habit can I align today with the future I claim? Do not wait for signs. Become the sign. Live the proof. Speak the future into your nervous system. And walk forward as if the field is already bending, because it is. And when you finally understand what your focus really is, you will realize it is not a tool, it is a signature. This is the moment where everything comes full circle. What you have been exploring is not just theory. It is not just inspiration. It is the blueprint of how consciousness shapes form, of how your attention writes the unfolding of your life, of how your soul speaks through the precision of your focus. Focus is not just a tool. It is your essence made visible. It is the invisible signature you leave upon the field, a vibrational imprint that communicates who you believe you are and what you are ready to receive. It is your soul in motion. In the same way a fingerprint is unique to your biology, your focus is unique to your consciousness. No one else has lived your experience. No one else carries your frequency, and no one else can collapse reality into the exact form that you can. You are not just shaping your world, you are tuning it to the signature of your soul. And that signature is not random, it is encoded with truth. Every time you focus on beauty, your soul speaks. Every time you focus on possibility, your soul stretches forward. Every time you focus on healing, your soul remembers what it came to restore. You are not trying to become powerful. You already are. You are simply learning how to direct that power, not in chaos, not in confusion, but in clarity, with intention, with emotional precision, with the alignment of someone who no longer begs the world to change, because they have become the change themselves. This is your final reminder. You are the observer. You are the gateway. You are the vibration that chooses the timeline. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are awakening to the creative pattern you have always been a part of. Now it is time to live from it, to speak from it, to become the proof of what is possible. So from this day forward, ask yourself not just what you want, ask yourself, what am I focusing into form? Because that is the real magic. That is the true authorship. Your focus reveals your essence. It is the code of your becoming. And now you get to write what comes next. If you are ready to shift timelines and claim your quantum identity, subscribe, share this with someone awakening, and begin each day with focused knowing. Repeat these words not as affirmation but as truth. I observe with purpose. I focus with love. I create with truth. I am the bridge.